All right. Welcome in to another reading. Finally got to do this one. I'm happy. Hopefully you all have had a wonderful day. Or if it's, if you're just now, rising, I hope your day goes well. Thank you all again for the support. I truly appreciate it. We are going to get into this reading. See what is going on. See what kind of advice we can give through the card. So we have the star upright. The star is Aquarius. It is the woman bearing water, which means that there is something that the feminine state of you, the heart space, is feeling and wanting to produce and wanting to do. Now, with Aquarius, the sign being man-bearing water, or man-bearing that wisdom, it's a call for you to pay attention to that inner calling and nurture it. Now, not only nurturing it within the water or the mother, meaning not only nurturing it, spiritually or by putting action into it, but also nurturing it on the land, on the physical, meaning you may be planning or thinking about doing something, but then the actual end product of you going out and producing it is also going to be nurturing in that sense. And that's really what you're needing to do at this time. If you have plans, it's time to go through with those plans. If you've been saying, I need to do this, it's time to do that now. Begin to nurture it. Now, don't nurture it in the sense of a rush or a panic, being like, I have to do this to the best of your ability. Of course, some things happen that will cause panic, and you just have to work through that, but try your best to abstain from that. If you can, take a minute to collect yourself, to breathe, to relax, and to move forward with the intent of that nurturing element, the intent of allowing it to grow, that intent of allowing it to be prosperous, pouring your love, pouring you into it, how you are in that state, that authentic state, that authentic being. And that's really what it's asking of you to do at this time. And even if this is just like, and I don't know why this is coming through like this, but even if it's like prayer or like, working with your ancestors, doing things like that is a way to nurture things spiritually and also physically at the same time, especially if you have an altar or a sacred space that you hold close and dear to. Doing things like that could also kind of help this. But it's about, it's mainly about doing things, whether that's job, whether that is committing to a routine, a route, a diet, however. It's about nurturing yourself by following that pure intent of, I enjoy doing this, or I would love to do this, or I'm interested in trying this, giving that, letting that inspiration actually inspire and ignite within you, so you can move forward. With the Aquarius in mind, with all that, the man bearing the wisdom, that's saying that when you yourself are moving within that field, moving within that energy, moving within that new state, that new mentality, however, you will gain that wisdom along that path. You will gain those lessons, those keys for like a better, keys for like a better word. I can't talk right now. To be able to move forward and unlock what you're desiring. Not necessarily unlock what you're desiring, but walk down the path smoother, and have more of an open road for yourself, not being so worried or clamped in by obstacles that are put there half by you, half by the rest of the circumstances. But it's allowing yourself to actually nurture yourself by moving forward with it. A lot of times we end up nurturing a lot of our dreams and goals and our aspirations just by daydreaming on it and being like, I want to do this and do that, and planning for it, but never actually doing things on the physical to support that. And this could even go as far as saying, like, you submit something to someone, like let's say you submit a song to a record label and they deny it. And it's like, then I'm not going to submit it to anything, I'm not going to release it or whatever. Instead of just giving up on it, allow that to inspire you to do more. You submitted it to the label, they gave back, they said no, maybe it needs this and that to it, gave it feedback, maybe critiqued it, or maybe just said that it's not something that they're looking for. Don't let that discourage you. Look for somewhere where it could fit, Allow that to be like your next goal, but then work towards that. Release, your own, releasing on yourself forever. If it's art, same thing. No matter how it is, it's just this act of actually enjoying what you're doing, actually loving what you're doing enough yourself to where you're not needing all that external nurturing, to where you're the main fountain. Act as almost as like you're the fountain of youth to whatever project you're working on. Your love, your ambition, the more you work with it and work on it, the more youthful it's going to be, the more cheerful it's going to be, the more of your energy, the more of your inner child, the more your enjoyability is going to be seen and shown, and the more that's going to bring to you, because you'll be in more of an authentic state, rather than in a state of feeling forced or pressured to move forward or do things, with whatever this is. If this is, I want to try and get as many scenarios as I can. If this was a relationship, you're wondering like, oh, should I go with this person or should I not? It's about nurturing yourself first. What are you wanting to do with someone else that you haven't done by yourself first? You know what I mean? Oh, well, I just want to go be with someone so I can go out and eat. Well, why don't you go out with yourself and eat? Why do you need someone else with you? Show yourself that love, that dignity, to take yourself out on your own accord first, before bringing someone else along, so that you know how you're going to act around yourself, so you know what you're going to desire and what you're going to want, so you can experience things on your own and not be so confused and, be like, oh, I don't know, it doesn't matter in a relationship. You'll be able to take control and be independent, and also work together as partners within stuff like that. If this is something about, leaving a relationship, this could just be a sign to taking time to yourself, nurturing yourself, allowing your mind, to be nurtured by how you're feeling, just expressing yourself. So maybe you need to take a break from someone and work on something else, nurturing something else to nurture yourself back. Pouring too much energy into one person or to one thing while not getting anything back is very draining, is very tiresome, and it puts this heavy load on you that makes you feel like you're not doing enough or you're not doing something right, whenever it's just you've been pushing so much with one thing and not giving enough to yourself. You've been reliant on that one thing. You put all your apples in one basket and the basket broke. You know what I mean? That's what we're getting at with this card. That's what we're needing to see and look at. But as well, let's see. If this was, because this one's a good one. A lot of people always talk about this. If it was for obtaining money, in a sense, this would be talking about being able to give yourself that feeling of money before actually obtaining it, so that you're not draining yourself constantly over and over again before you're getting your goal. Hold on here, sorry about that, I had a pause. Where was I? So if it was about money, this would be about giving yourself that feeling of money before you having it. So it's like, if the feeling of money would give you ease or relaxation, putting yourself in situations where you're able to relax is going to be able to, prosper that within the physical. If the feeling of getting, money gives you, peace of mind or happiness or joy or that giddiness, give yourself that somehow. Watch videos that create that feeling and relish in that before you can get it within that physical. You know what I mean? Embodying that feeling, that state of being is going to be able to put you into that zone, into the element of receiving it on the physical. And that's where miracles happen. That's where someone just randomly gave me this, or someone randomly bought me this, or those types of things, those miracles happen within that type of state. But that is the wisdom that the woman is bearing, that the man is bearing with the Aquarius, that they are both bearing together and co-creating. That's why as well that she's pouring not only on the water, the mother, and the earth, the matter, the father, with the two urns. But that's why that's both being nurtured in that sense, and that's where the Aquarius lies within the star card. But that is that. That's their wisdom, being able to accept things internally and being able to accept things and co-create them internally first. This card is so cool. The halo, I love it. The illumination. We love it so much over here. I was getting exasperated because I'm just, one of my friends pulled up, so I'm trying to keep my cool while everything's passing. But I don't know, it's all good. I'm happy as all. But regardless, that's their wisdom, is being able to accept it internally, being able to embody it internally, being able to allow yourself to express that being, that state of existence, so that then you know how to walk that path. You know what I mean? It's like, let's say you go to a foreign country where you just don't know their language, right? And you really have to use the bathroom, but you don't know how to ask anyone, right? So you just keep asking, where's the bathroom, and you keep looking around and trying to find it, but then, you find the bathroom, but no one's around to tell you whether it's male or female. There's nothing else distinguishing it other than just like, letterings. That's without that wisdom. That's moving down that path without that wisdom. You didn't embody where you were going to go. You didn't embody where you were going to go visit. You didn't embody their languages, their symbolisms, or anything. Learning simple statements like, where's the bathroom? All these things are important for those types of scenarios. And that would be you, feminine, and nurturing yourself with that knowledge, with that wisdom, and then being able to masculine output that knowledge and use it within that field, using it that, the man bearing that knowledge, that wisdom, being able to output that and be able to find the bathroom and know which one's both, male and female, without needing to guess or without being in that awkward situation. You know what I mean? I think that was a beautiful, like, perfect way to describe it. I don't think I could have done anything better than that. That's literally how the star card is. But yeah, that is the reading. Thank you all so much, so much for all the support, for the likes, comments, shares, subscribes, and also for the hypes. I keep forgetting to mention this, but there's a new feature that's called that hypes. And apparently, the more hypes it gets, the more it's going to show up on like a country-based leaderboard, which pushes it further in the algorithm. So if you enjoy the content that I do, the readings and whatever, please be sure to, to use the hypes. It would be greatly appreciated. I don't know how you gain them. I think it's within live streams. I don't know. I'll be doing live streams, I think, pretty much every other day if things work out the plan. So I guess it'll be easier to get more of them. I don't really know how it works. So yeah, I just seen it was a new feature, and I guess that's how it works. Like, I googled it, looked it up, and read the new updates for the TOS and everything. But regardless, if you're interested in readings or however, go to the description. You'll find it there, either by email or through the Big Cartel link. But yeah, if you're looking for the Dr. Malachi's York books, they're also in there. But regardless, I love you. I couldn't remember what I'm trying to say here. Excuse me. But I don't know. I've been frantic all night. I've just been hyper. But regardless, I love you all so much, to the moon and back, tenfold and forever. Even beyond there, honestly, to know beyond, to no limit. Hadash Ashug, divine love is what that means. Peace, peace be with all of you, truly. I love you all so much. I will see you later.